Welcome to FBB Forum. If you like this content, please be sure to like and subscribe. I'm very pleased to welcome the stunning IFBB Pro Women's Physique and Bodybuilding competitors Eunice Martinez-Kitchen and Jolaine Fulps to the podcast. These two ladies recently started up a new bodybuilding clothing line with a special mission called BADRAP. Tune in to find out more about the company and why they started it. Welcome, Eunice and Jolaine. It's good to see you.
Thanks, David. Yeah, we've been looking forward to this since you contacted me a couple of days ago.
Yes.
So just really want to thank you for the opportunity. One of the major things that needs to happen is that we've got to get the buzz out about BADRAP. And so we really do appreciate you reaching out and giving us this chance to spread the word.
You're welcome. Yeah, it was cool to see y'all both together. I thought maybe Jolaine would be dialing in separate. So you guys are both in Texas?
Yes.
Yeah, she lives about, I would say, an hour and 20 minutes from me.
Okay.
And so we occasionally team up to work out. And so either I go to her place or she comes here. And we just take turns, especially while we're in prep. We support each other like that.
That's terrific. Very cool. No, I think that's and it's great that you're starting up this company now. Now I know that BADRAP is an acronym. So, and I was curious, what does it stand for, and how did y'all come up with a name?
Actually, David, the name has been in, I would say, in existence since 1991.
Wow.
It actually came up, and I want to mention this young man because it's in his memory that we're actually launching BADRAP. Back in 1991, my husband and I opened up Muscles and Curves Gym, and I was 25 years old, and I was in the peak of my bodybuilding competitive, years. I was 25 at that time. I started when I was 21. So my first show was in 1987, and so I've been competing since 1987. And in 1991, when I moved to Crockett, there wasn't a gym in which could support, my bodybuilding, just that journey where I was at that time. So my husband and I decided to open up a gym in Crockett, Texas. And so these two young men who were brothers joined the gym. And one of them was 16 years old. The other one was about 19. And so the Chapman brothers admired us because my husband, they called him Big Will because Willie was big. And so they called him Big Will. And with me, they always say, God, you're so defined. And so they would always like, hey, there's big and defined. Hey, there's big and defined. And so then, of course, it's like, man, look at Willie. He's pumped. God, look at Eunice. She's ripped. So then it started, with big and defined, ripped and pumped. And so Jeff Chapman actually ends up opening his own t-shirt printing business. And he started printing shirts for Muscles and Curves. And so the slogan on our shirt was BADRAP, which stood for big and defined, ripped and pumped. And then he said, I'm going to name my company that. So his t-shirt company, he named it BADRAP. But most of the people knew it as, Jeff's t-shirt printing place. Okay. And so at that time in the 90s, really acronyms weren't in. It was more art. We had T. Michael back then. You had No Limits. You just had more artwork. You had Crazy Wear, but you didn't have hashtags. And so now that hashtags came in, when I met Jolaine, and I actually call her JoJo.
Yeah.
The first thing I did in 2020 when we started really training together and prepping for shows, I gave her a watch.
Yes, she did.
I had it personalized with BADRAP on it. And so I said, this stands for big and defined, ripped and pumped. And in 2020, we're both going to hit the stage and we're going to be big and defined, ripped and pumped.
Yeah.
And so, I think about it now, and it was all done. Things happen for a reason. And it just seems like it was preparing us for what we're doing today.
Very true.
That's terrific. That's really cool. It's kind of cool backstory on that too, going that far back too.
I know, right? And actually, I have an original T-shirt I brought with me
Really?
from 1991, and I want to show it to you before we end the call. I'd have to step away to get it.
Oh,
Um,
sure.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
uh,
definitely. I'd love to see it.
but it was the original shirt, so it's about 30 years old.
Okay.
It was the slogan that we used for Muscles and Curves Gym.
Wow, that's awesome. That's incredible. That's
So I thought about how can we honor Jeff in that. Jeff actually passed away at the age of 42 from a cardiac arrest.
oh, wow.
And he left two children. One of them was maybe the age of 4, and the other one around 9 years old. And so what I'd like to do is honor, the scholarship funding that we're going to be, as far as helping our athletes with, in his memory.
That's terrific. That's really sweet too. And I'm so sorry that he passed away so young.
Yeah, he did. It was definitely shocking, and it was pretty devastating when we heard about that.
Sure. Yeah, I totally understand that. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Now I was curious, do y'all think that bodybuilding gets a bad rap?
I think in anything that you're not educated in can get a bad rap. I think this is where we need to inform people that are competing, or just people in general. Like I informed my family my first show because my youngest was a boy and he was 15 years old. And I remember I made them all sit down and I said, I'm gonna come out in a suit. And my youngest, I mean, he knew, they all know I'm healthy. I like to strength train or do whatever, jump into what I'm interested in. And he was like, they all thanked me, especially him. So that's pretty young to see your mom. I think I was almost 48 at the time for my first show.
Hmm.
And so I just think you need to educate them. You need to educate how beautiful bodybuilding is. And I mean, it's a challenge for each competitor. And it's not just the competitor going through it, it's the family, your friends, because you have to make certain changes in your lifestyle because your mind is truly challenged. I mean, your strength, your bodybuilding, what goes along with prepping for a show. And I think if we just inform people more that bodybuilding is going to start coming back, women's physique and all the above. I just, when I first started, I didn't, know anything about this. And I remember reading and reading and it making more sense. And everybody backstage that was in charge of the show was very helpful. And I was nervous, I get a little bit nervous before I step on stage each show, but I was really nervous my first big show. But you know what? The first time I got on stage and I was just like, I really don't know what to expect or what I'm doing. And, you have the people at work and they're there to answer your questions or just to say, go on stage and come back and see me. And that's what happened. But I think it's just informing people because the art of bodybuilding is so beautiful. And I think once you understand it and the competitor goes through it, family and friends, they get it and they support it. So I think it's just, getting the word out there.
Sure. Yeah. I definitely admire y'all for what you do. And when you mentioned 1991, that's when I graduated from high school. And I was a fan back then, I was following it back in the 80s. So yeah, no, I definitely admire you and the families too, because I know it's not always easy for the families too. But yeah, no, y'all keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Now tell me, what is the mission of BADRAP? I know that you have kind of a special mission that you want to do with the profits from the clothing line company.
Yeah, part of the mission work is, David, I started competing in 1987, and that was the era when all we had back then was bodybuilding. That was the only category.
Yeah.
I competed during the time when I saw, actually experienced, the eras of each Olympian and the women's Olympia, Rachel McLeish, followed by Carla Dunlap, followed by Corey Everson. followed by Juliet Bergman, Linda Murray. And so I competed throughout all that time when we had all those different Olympians, and the only category was bodybuilding. So we didn't have a problem with participation in bodybuilding. At that time too, it was mainstream. You could turn the TV on and you could watch bodybuilding competitions. You could watch the Miss Olympia. You could watch the nationals. There was also, like on Saturdays, shows like Muscle Sport USA that the host Tom Terwilliger would host, and we would see ourselves on TV after maybe a regional show, and especially if you were highlighted if you had won. And then of course, you know, we had all the different exercise shows back in the 80s and 90s that were popular. You had the celebrities who were big influencers with some of those shows, like Cher. You had Jane Fonda. Of course, you had even Jamie Lee Curtis. You had a lot of Hollywood stars. And then, of course, we had Body Shaping, who had Corey Everson. And so at that time, Corey's show was real popular with the women who were at stay-at-home moms. And, you know, she showed a different type of body that was a little bit more sculpted, yet she looked really feminine. She had amazing legs, and women really watched her show. And at times, she also invited guests. You know, she had men guests who were professional bodybuilders, like, it was Rick Valente was one of the bodybuilders that she would invite quite often. Then after that, you had shows like Jake, Body by Jake.
Yeah, I remember that.
He was pretty muscular. Yeah, and you also had what was his name? It was something like Zihad, or he was like Greek.
Sounds familiar.
Who also had a show, and he was pretty ripped. And a big dude. He was definitely a bodybuilder from like the eastern part of the world.
I remember that. Yeah, I forget the name of that show too, and that guy.
Yeah, so I think, you know, it depends on who the influencers are during those eras that can, you know, really educate people and bring it to a point of interest. And so every era presents something different. You know, now we've got the Kardashians, and because of the Kardashians, I feel like now we've got the wellness division. That's true, you know. So every era brings a different influencer, and you know, getting back to your quest about our question is how we're going to help is because now that there's so many divisions, we do see the participation in women's bodybuilding. Some shows are pretty low, and you know, this last season there was very limited shows where there actually had women's bodybuilding divisions offered.
That's true.
If we can start maybe mentoring from maybe the figure, the women's physique, and helping some of those girls, a lot of the big reason why I think that limits competitors is because of cost. Shows are very expensive. When I came back to the scene in 2019, it was a rude awakening for me.
Yeah.
Back when I competed in the 80s and 90s, our suits were like $25, $30.
Wow.
You'd order them from Samson and Delilah, and it was $20, 25, and depending on what you chose, maybe $30. And so coming back in 2019, I was like, what? Really? This much for a suit?
Because the bling too, the bling is, and they have to sew those rhinestones, and it's so interesting.
Yeah. So, you know, you can pay as much as, you know, $3,000, $4,000 on a suit if you wanted to.
Wow.
It just depends, you know, where your limit is. But if you think about it, the suits are a big cost. The show itself, to show up to a show, you've got to travel. You've got to, you know, pay coaches. You got the expense of tanning. You have the expense of hair. You have the expense of makeup if you're going to have someone apply your makeup. So all those add up, And if we could at least help to lessen the burden on any of those, then for us, we think that that would maybe help help some of the athletes. And I definitely, know that some people would really appreciate it.
So would y'all have like kind of like a grant process where women who are interested in competing maybe apply and say that they need help, or how would y'all do that?
We'd like to go about on our website, have a registry.
Yeah.
And you can register your name, give us a little bio about yourself, and what show you intend to compete in. Since we're going to be helping with tanning, hair, and makeup, at this point, they should already have a show and they should already be in prep mode.
Yeah.
That way, we're just coming in at the end, helping them alleviate a little cost that will maybe free up maybe what they're going to spend, per diem on their food. Or maybe on a ticket for their spouse. One of the other things that we see is that it costs a lot to spectate a show now.
Yeah.
Because you pay separate for prejudging, you pay separate for finals, and if your spouse is coming with you, or if your boyfriend or whoever it is, a significant other, they have to pay for that ticket. And so in cases like this where there may be girls out there, young women who have families, everything counts. Any little bit would help.
That's true.
And another thing is, maybe if we set the mode, we set someone else, the presidents, that maybe we'll get other companies that will follow suit, and we'll also think about doing what we're doing.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think that's a good, and kind of take the lead and be an example for what could be done. Often thought too, and I do know as a fan like how expensive it is to go to a show, but just in terms of fans like ponying up some money too to help with prize money or pool money to help with tanning and that kind of thing, I could see that possibly helping too, or maybe y'all could funnel fan money as well. So just a thought.
Exactly. Yeah, I thought about that too, having a section where it's the fans' donations. We also like to have a section where there's a gift card that you can buy. And that gift card can perhaps be used, towards whatever, if there's a registry already with that person on file, towards that, or whatever they wanted to do with it, maybe apparel or anything else.
That's terrific. I think that's a great idea. Now, what you talked about, it would be unisex, so for men and women, but what type of apparel would y'all offer up for sale? And can you say basically what price range you're looking at, or can you say yet?
I'll let JoJo answer that one.
Well, I think as far as price range, we're still new and building, but it's gonna be affordable and fair.
Okay.
It's gonna decide on what the person is purchasing. We're not, gonna blow it up and just ask for an amount that's just like, wow. It's gonna be fair. We are with t-shirts right now. We're gonna have hoodies, and we're still building. We have a lot that in our minds that we want to do. We've got some jewelry for women that we're working on, and yeah, we're just going to just keep building. It takes a lot to start up a company, and I think we're doing really well so far. It also takes a lot of time to do it right, and that's what we're doing. So this has all come on pretty quick. Eunice went to the Wings of Strength and Arizona, and had some shirts, and she got back, and it was just, all kinds of people contacting her through Instagram, emails, and they're very excited. And I think once they found out our mission, it even made it more positive, and people are wanting to be a part of it, which that is great. And we hope to continue on and build and get bigger.
Yeah,
we want a lot of stuff.
You mentioned there's a few Olympians who already have been promoting you.
Oh yeah. We have Haley Trevino, of course, got a huge following, and of course he's in the UK right now. I think she's also getting ready to start a podcast from, what I heard.
Yeah.
And then we have Chelsea Dion, and she'll be actually competing at the Olympia. And we've got Gina Cavallero, and of course, Gina's, a great trainer. She's actually my trainer.
Yeah.
And yeah, so, of course, she knows lots of people, and so she's getting us out there. And we've got Sherry Priami,
Yeah.
and also a big hitter is Teresa
Oh, Teresa Ivancic.
Ivanchek, yeah.
Yeah,
And
she's great.
then at the Rising Phoenix, I was able to scout a young girl that really, when she got on stage, I saw the potential that she had. And she quickly reminded me of Linda Murray back in the 80s, the 90s.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I looked at her and I was like, no, that girl has so much potential. But I could see her eventually ending up in the bodybuilding division.
Oh, yeah.
And so after she got off stage and after prejudging, I went up to her and I said, I really want to, support you. And so I told her all about BADRAP. And so we're going to be sponsoring her at the Olympia, because she actually won her weight class. That's the potential she had. And so
Wow.
she qualified for the Olympia in WPD. And so she goes by Lex Hall.
Oh,
Lex,
yeah.
Lex, Alex Hall is her name.
Uh-huh.
And so she's one of those that we're actually mentoring, and we see the potential in her. So
Yeah.
we'll see her one day competing in the bodybuilding, because it won't take her long. She's not that far away.
Yeah, she's terrific. I
Yeah,
was pleased that she got to her first Olympia too. I think that's going to be terrific for her because she
exactly.
does look amazing.
Yeah, those lines, just her symmetry, the lines, it just, and even her finesse and her posing just
Yeah.
reminded me of Linda Murray back in the 90s.
Yeah, her posing is excellent. Yeah, I agree with you on that. That's pretty cool. Um, Now I was curious, what would y'all say is and we talked a little bit about it, but the most expensive component of bodybuilding for women, and where do you think women need the most help?
I think everything is expensive in bodybuilding. I mean, from the first day you start training, you've got your trainers, your nutritionist, your posing coach, and then you get into your suit that you need, entry fees, and then hair, makeup, the
Mhm.
day of the show, and like, the oh shoot, I just lost my train of thought. Like if your spouse is with you, paying for that. So I think it's all expensive, but I think in the end, when they step on stage, it's just beautiful, and you've achieved a lot and accomplished a lot. But those start adding up, because you've got your everyday life, which may be your job, house mom, whatever you do, and then you're adding another part to your life. So that's almost like doubling everything.
Mhm.
And your willpower is truly tested, and you're pushing your body, you're testing your strength and your mind and all the above. But when you get on that stage, the end result is just really good and rewarding. So
Yeah.
I just think in what you choose to do, but you do have your fixed costs, which is hair, makeup, and your suit. You can decide on your suit how much you want to spend, but I think it's a big expense overall. And I think that's where, when BADRAP comes in, like Eunice said, we can take a little bit of that expense off and
Yeah.
away from them and support them and see them through. And that was, I mean, I know when I started, that would have been a big help with me, because I was just like, yeah, let's do a show. And like I said, I was brand new at it, and I was just like, wow, so you learn, and with each show. So
And David, I was thinking, I've always, my husband's in politics, so I've always, known of people. I know a lot of people who are always willing to donate, and perhaps, we could actually even assist as being brokers.
Hmm.
Okay, let's find her a suit. Okay, we'll call up a suit company.
Yeah.
Okay, let's find her, a posing coach. Okay, And so, you know, in some form or fashion, we can help beyond just what our company can do, but maybe have some other people also in line to help those that we really see that are going to expand our bodybuilding, you know, participation.
That's a great idea. Yeah. And y'all could be kind of the conduit for that.
Yeah,
I even thought like setting up like a suit exchange, or see if you can get women to donate their old suits, you know, because sometimes that the suit itself is just so dang expensive, you know. If you can defray that cost, that's huge.
yeah, if somehow we could recycle those suits, you know, to where they're the hygiene, you know, maybe reline the inner lining of the suit.
Right.
Yeah.
We could make it into like, okay, that sounds, now it sounds like it could be something that we could do. But that would be a great idea.
Yeah. Thank you. Now I was wondering if y'all would consider starting up kind of like a nonprofit organization to help the women bodybuilders with their costs, because I was thinking it could be a spinoff, or it could be related to what y'all are talking about doing.
What do you,
Well-
let's have her answer this one.
I think if that door opens, we will most certainly think about it.
Mhm.
Like I said, we are really new right now and building, but I think if that's the path God chooses us to do, then we'll do it. But
Terrific.
that would be, you know, further into the business.
Sure, I understand.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. And we talked about it before, but are y'all going to be setting up vendor tables at bodybuilding shows?
We're gonna try, yeah, we definitely will. What did we say we were gonna shoot for our first show?
Well, the first shows that we want to shoot for is going to be in 2024. One of the ones that I would think is going to be where we can really get the buzz out is going to be the Triple O,
Yeah,
which is in
I agree.
April.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, that's going to be a good show.
It's going to be a good show, and so what better show to, you know, to be at and to really make the contact with some of the women.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Where is that going to be?
That'll be in Mesa, Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, since we're Texas based, you know, there's a Texas Pro, there's a lot of Texas shows here
Mhm.
that we could easily travel to, that won't be as expensive because, you know, we live pretty centralized. I live in Crockett, Texas, which is 2 hours north of Houston and 2.5 hours east of Dallas.
Mhm.
So I'm sort of centralized, and I can go there and be back home without having to, you know, at the expense of spending the nights and hotel stays and things like that. Yeah. So, and actually, JoJo lives in Tyler, which is a little closer to Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's
And
great.
then, of course, you know, our shows in Texas, the big shows are usually in the in Dallas, San Antonio, and the Houston area.
That's true. Yeah, especially it seems like Dallas has a lot of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And there's several bodybuilders that live there too. And are y'all going to be selling apparel online as well?
That's mainly what we're going to be doing is the online shopping, online sales.
And y'all, have y'all considered selling suits too, the competition suits, or no? I didn't know if that was something that might come down the pike.
We have not, we're actually working on a different product. We don't want to, it's, you know, at this point, we're not going to talk about what it is, but we're working on a product that we think is really going to be popular.
Very beneficial.
And very beneficial. So that's another thought, you know, thing that we've got going right now. In fact, tomorrow I go to Austin to meet with the team that's helping to design it. So you know, we got a lot, we've got a lot of ideas, and you know, both of us have great husbands that support us. And that's one of the things, you know, we both have those type of husbands that financially they're our soundboard.
Yeah.
We got ideas, we got the, you know, the hopes and all that, and they're our soundboard, and they're like, help us to like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, but you gotta think about this. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
anyway,
they keep us grounded.
yeah, they keep us grounded.
Uh,
But I think in starting a business or anything that you do, if you're married or have a boyfriend or whatever, it is very important that they support you. And like she said, they do keep us grounded and say, hey, what about this? Because we're just, I don't know, when I have an idea, I'm just like, let's do this. And me and her are alike in that way. So I think we all four get together really well. We're really good friends. And that has been the beauty of this. And that's going to really help. So they're going to take care of their part and we're going to take care of ours.
that's terrific. That's good to have the supportive husbands and have them as soundboards too. I think that's really good. Yeah,
So we got a powerful team. We got a powerful team, that's for
We
sure.
sure do.
that's awesome. No, I think that's really cool. I was thinking you could have like a special suit that has like bad under one triangle and then
Mhm.
wrap on the other. And be advertising your company on stage.
Well, we're certainly gonna have robes, that's for sure.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, ropes would be good.
Well,
Um,
I always like to see what division women are in. And sometimes like when you go down and get your hair and makeup done, you really don't know. I
mhm.
think it's robes with our logo on it and maybe like on the front, if they're a bodybuilder or women's physique or bikini figure wellness would be just something great to have. Because sometimes you can't really tell. And then at that point, you're just kind of tired and trying to get ready to step on stage. So I think it would be a great idea.
I like that idea too. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Um, we only have about 7 minutes left. I didn't know, Eunice, if you wanted to get the 91 shirt real quick.
Yeah.
I could talk with Jojo. No, I had a few questions about competing, and I was curious, what show have you done recently, Jojo? And
My
Eunice too.
last show I did was the World Masters, and that was exactly a year ago, this past July.
Okay.
It was a big learning show for me. It was not my best package. I'd actually, throughout prep, just like a cold or, I got ear infection, I think. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this because I missed the stage. I think I got like 9th and 13th, which I mean, it's not bad. I'm not knocking it, but I knew when we were packing up, I told my husband, I said, this is not going to be my best show. And I knew, but I wanted to do it because I like being on stage and I like being around people, and I'd actually missed it. So yeah, that was my last one. My favorite show was North Americans because that's where I got my pro card.
Oh yeah. Which
Yeah.
year was that?
Huh?
Which year was for North Americans?
It was 2018. So I started, my first show was in 2017, I believe. And I did a small show and won. And then the person that was in charge of it, he was like, I want to see you next week at what's the show in December that they have? The Texas Championships?
Battle of Texas.
Battle of Texas or something. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing any more shows. And I did end up signing up for that. And I mean, I was still really new and learning. And that's where I got a lot of help because I was like a month of being 48. And I did qualify to go to NPC. So that was in December. So I started working and went to North Americans, or I forget which one it was, and I missed my pro card by one.
Mhm.
I qualified my first show. It kind of all happened really quick, but I've always been in something, some kind of sport. So
Yeah.
I went from July to the following July, and that's when I got my show. So by my third show in a little under 2 years, I got my pro card.
Wow,
And
that's great.
yeah, and I was just like, people were congratulating me and like, it's taken me forever, and I didn't understand that, but because I'd already thought, if I don't do something in 5 years, I may just stop. But I probably wouldn't have because I just enjoy it. I enjoy competing. Do I go to be number one? I mean, everybody likes first, but no, because you don't know who's going to show up. I just like visiting with people, making new friends, and just being on stage because it takes a lot to get there for every competitor, everyone that steps on stage.
That's true. Yeah, like I said, I admire y'all for doing that. And it's a lot of hard work, I know, a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah.
Could you show the shirt real quick, Eunice?
Sure. This is the back of the shirt. This shirt is over 30 years old.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
Yeah, so you can see there's like an Omega logo on it.
Uh-huh.
If you were to turn it upside down, it's almost like the Lulu symbol, right? The Lululemon.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, what's funny about it is that my nickname growing up was Lulu.
Oh, really? That's awesome. I like that.
So you know what? Maybe we're gonna take BADRAP to be even bigger than Lulu. Yeah, that's the original, OG. It's a shirt that's over 30 years old.
That's so cool. That's awesome. It looks like the same logo, basically. You haven't really changed the logo, have you?
Not the unisex one, but we have the one that we're using for the women. Yeah.
Yeah. And what was your last contest, Eunice? I think I did see you compete, and I forget which one it was, though.
The Tampa Pro, which was in July.
Oh, that's right. It was Tampa Pro. Yeah, I saw you compete there. Yeah.
And prior to that was Masters Nationals, where I got my pro card. And that was I entered the bodybuilding division. I think it was 4 different classes.
Everything. Every class.
Yeah, and then I entered women's physique every class, and I became they called me the Michael Phelps of Masters National. And I really just intended to go turn pro and just win one class, but I ended up winning like every class in the bodybuilding, and then I did well in the physique as well. So
wow,
it prepared me for the Tampa Pro. Yeah,
that's good bragging rights for sure. Winning all those divisions like that. So we're almost out of time. I was wondering if y'all would do the flex for me. Like I said, I'm going to mute myself, and you got to say BADRAP.
Okay, sounds good. So let's see if we can both fit in here. I'm big and defined.
And I'm ripped and pumped.
And we're BADRAP together.
There we are.
That's terrific. I love that. Yeah. And y'all, that was a good way to kind of promote the business too. A little bit of plug for the business. I see what you're doing there. No, but thank you so much.
We both love women's bodybuilding. It's dear to our hearts, especially, for me, who started back at the age of 15. When I saw the mural on the wall of Rachel McLeish,
yeah,
my dad actually built her gym, and that's how come I was exposed to Rachel McLeish. She was actually from my hometown area. And at 15, when I saw her picture on that wall, I told my dad, I want to look like her.
Wow.
Ever since then, I said I was going to be a pro bodybuilder. That's what I wanted to do with my life, was become a professional bodybuilder.
Wow.
So, to support women's bodybuilding, to me, is very, very deep in my heart. And I don't want to see this sport die.
Absolutely not.
And so I'm going to do my part to help it going, to help it keep going.
We're going to get cut off here. I just want to thank you all, and we'll get this posted soon, but thank you so much.
Thank you, David. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
BADRAP.
BADRAP.